And it's funny because a lot of them are from San Diego too, but I'm meeting them just now while I'm living in LA. But it's nice. It's nice to, find that community. Yeah.
All right. And I think it's like, it's good to know that you're not, at least it's good to know to have that idea that you're not alone in in your musical pursuits. And so I want to know also, because you are a multi-instrumentalist, you're a singer-songwriter, you've also written for other artists. Does songwriting for other artists, does that give you the same kind of high or excitement as performing your own music? Or what is the difference between that, like in terms of how you feel about that, those sides?
Yeah, I think they're similar, but very different kind of muscles in my brain. So when I started, I feel like when I first moved to LA, I was doing a lot of songwriting, and you're able to connect with people in a different kind of way and help somebody tell their own stories.
Sure.
Which I love. But I feel like I've always had in the back of my mind just this little voice telling me, like, you need to tell your own, and like you owe it to yourself to tell your own story. Especially being Filipino, like growing up, a lot of the musicians that I listened to weren't Filipino. There was like not a lot of them. So it just I feel like I was doing a disservice to myself if I didn't pursue my own artist project.
It's a great start, though. I mean, but also in terms of writing for other artists, so the process was like was it more of asking them like what they want the song to be about, and then you work from there? And then I also so what's that difference with you writing music that now talks about your life, your experiences?
Yeah, it is a lot of asking them what they're going through and finding the just like the common thread between all of it, like what you can relate to listening to another artist, right? Because at the end of the day, if I'm writing songs for, say, my friend Emme, right? And when she releases music, people relate to her music because of how authentic her stories are. And so when I'm writing for myself, it is very different because I'm having to pull from my own experiences and, what I've experienced growing up and relationships, X, Y, and Z. So, yeah, it is a different muscle because you have to be a little bit more introspective when you're writing for stuff. And so, yeah.
So it's harder. So you're saying it's harder, a little bit harder for you to write music that's more about yourself than it is to write for other people, for other artists?
I think it can be because you have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
If you're going to write something that, is completely true to you.
And I think you can also, and you can also hear the authenticity, or like, you can hear how honest and raw the lyrics are once an artist does get in touch with the experience that they're having or the emotions that they're feeling too. So, and I think it's a great start for you as Labat, wanting to share your own story too. And it's this track, Someday Far Away, it's a testament to that also. So in case you monsters listening aren't familiar, you probably have heard his songs on TikTok or even some of your Instagram reels. Someday Far Away is trending on TikTok and Spotify in many parts of Asia. So could you tell us what Someday Far Away is about?
Yeah, Someday Far Away, I was coming out of a long-distance situationship, if you will.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, I remember the headspace that I was in was just so, like, I was feeling lost, and I was feeling kind of like I just needed some sort of light at the end of the tunnel. And I had just ended things with somebody. And I feel like when you go through a breakup, there's, whether you like it or not, there's always this little voice telling you, like, maybe this isn't the end. Maybe it will work out, and maybe this is just, part of the journey. And so for me, it was my own therapy in telling myself, like, maybe one day it will make sense, or someday far away, it'll work out for the best. And so I kind of viewed it as that, and then also viewed it as almost like a final letter to that person, and just saying, maybe this is for the best, whether it means that we'll be together again or not. And that's just kind of the headspace I was in, and I just had no idea that it would have the response that it's had to this day. So, yeah, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, because you're combining two very powerful and very popular, I guess, topics in love and relationships, which is long distance and situationships. And so if you put that together, I can only imagine what you went through. Yeah. So
the clarity is not there.
yeah, for sure. And so it's no wonder that people actually did relate to the song too, because whether or not they were in a long distance situationship, just the lyrics alone, listening to the song, it was it did reflect that light at the end of the tunnel, that maybe one day this will actually make sense and work out, as you said. And so any less, because my show is called The Deep Dish, and it does tap into a little bit of love and relationship. So I do want to know, Labit, what lessons have you learned then from that experience, and what do you hope to achieve, if you are looking to be in another relationship? What's something that you want to focus on or try and prioritize?
Yeah, I think I learned a lot from it, and it's only stuff that I can I kind of saw the light at the end of the tunnel once I got there. And thankfully I have a very loving relationship right now, and she's amazing.
Awesome.
And I feel like what I learned is I had a pattern of what I thought was good for me in past relationships.
Right.
And I didn't realize what was actually right for me